Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over Mardu Sack. This is the deck that I played in the historic qualifier just a couple days ago, and I was going to record my matches, but I just forgot. Like I plain forgot. I got like one or two of them and they were kind of miserable matches. So I decided to just record a video after the fact. But I ended up going 6-3, unfortunately losing my winning into day two to some just unfortunate variance really. I know I could have played a match or two better and maybe day two, but 6-3, still some free gems. And actually the record overall with the deck was pretty good. I think there might have been like a dozen or so people playing it that I heard the records from them. And of those people, we had 4 people day two, and I think like a 65, 70-ish% win rate across everyone. So, I was still pretty pleased to see how the deck performed pretty well, even though I know, unfortunately, I was not quite successful enough with it. But yeah, also real quick before we get into deck tech, I just want to say, um, I did not make this list public before the event for everyone, only to my patrons. So you can check out my Patreon link in the description. I've got a full guide on the deck on there now, and I mean, maybe it's a little late for you to play it in the qualifier, but if this deck seems interesting to you, you can still definitely play it on ladder. I got up to number 32 mythic with it, and I've been decaying a bit since, but I think the deck's pretty strong. It beats Boros. It has a good matchup to Jeskai control as well. Um, so yeah, let's get into the deck tech. So basically, this is a sacrifice deck built around Goblin Bombardment, which is a really, really powerful card. I think it's like secretly the best card in Historic, though it's not so secret anymore because everyone's playing it, I suppose. But lets you sack a creature to ping any target. And so this deck has just tons and tons of fodder. You've got stuff like Ocelot Pride making tokens, Unlucky Witness giving you cards back when you sack it, a Johnny making both 2 bodies for 2 mana, and you want to sack the cat to flip it. Marionette Apprentice comes with 2 bodies, rewards you for sacrificing things. Amp Trapper and Loot Monger both come with like decent bodies that can be sacrificed. And so yeah, other than Goblin Bombardment, this deck has some more sack outlets. Got a place out of Deadly Disputes, which is really strong. Lets you flip a Johnny, turn on Claim the Firstborn, get some value. Excellent card. Going turn 1 Unlucky Witness into turn 2 Deadly Dispute just lets you see a lot of cards. So it is a pretty important enabler for the deck. And I've got some one-ofs like Cthulhu Nightmare for some value though. I don't know, I might cut it because it's kind of weakened to Sun Cleanser, Village Right, also just solid card, a bit of extra redundancy. There are definitely spots that come up where it being 1 mana rather than Deadly Dispute being 2 is great. Like you can go, turn 2 a Johnny and then Village Rites, or turn 3 a Johnny, sorry, and then Village Rites to flip it immediately. And we've also got a pair of Phyrexian Towers, which is a really powerful land. This mana base is kind of rough. 21 lands, which I think is a little better than 22 because the deck has a bit of a tendency to flood in the late game. But 21 lands with 2 Phyrexian Towers makes mana requirements really difficult, so you need like the place of confluences to make up for that. But I still think it's just too powerful of a card not to run 2. It's really good for turning on kind of Firstborn, and sometimes you just don't have a sack outlet, and Phyrexian Tower helps mitigate that. And um, not having a sack outlet is a really big issue in a lot of spots. So it adds some extra consistency, despite making the meta base less consistent. It makes the deck more consistent. And also, you can double spell on 4 sometimes by sacking a creature, and that can be pretty powerful. So other than that, basically this deck, the way I've ended up building it is having an Ocelot Pride package. Ocelot Pride is just an unbelievably strong card. It's kind of like Ragavan if Ragavan didn't have to attack to win the game. Which is maybe a bit hyperbolic, but with no Bowmasters in the format, Ocelot Pride is just free to roam and go crazy. If you jam this turn 1 and start getting in, your opponent can't find a blocker, that's great. But also you can go, like, for example, turn 1 Guide of Souls, turn 2 Ocelot Pride, start churning out tokens. And this deck is really good at turning on CD's Blessing. It can have it turned on as early as turn 3, but usually by turn 4. And then Ocelot Pride can start copying both the cats you're making, as well as the Johnny tokens, and Marionette Apprentice tokens, and Deadly Dispute tokens, and Loot Monger tokens. Really just an absurd card. Can enable a lot of turn 3 wins if your opponent doesn't have attraction, like Ocelot Pride into a Johnny into Phyrexian Tower, Goblin Bombardment. Marionette Apprentice is like far more than 20 damage by turn 3 because you're like going end step, copy the Ocelot Pride cat, copy the Marionette Apprentice token, copy to a Johnny or a Johnny token, and you just make so many creatures, and I've had some really ridiculous draws with it. I think the literal nut draw of Ocelot Pride, Ocelot Pride, Ocelot Pride, Bombardment plus Marionette thing off of Phyrexian Tower on turn 3 is something like 54 damage by turn 3. Plus 6 from attacking, and you put your opponent to, like, negative 40. I did the math for the article I wrote in this deck just to illustrate how messed up the card is. But yeah, to support it, we're running God of Souls, which not super synergistic with the whole sack plan, but we've got a bunch of cheap creatures, and it's just a really strong card. Um, and then we've also got a Place of Unlucky. It's a really important card of the deck. It gives you some redundancy on creatures to sacrifice, and it's also red permanent for Johnny, which is just an unbelievable card. I mean, somehow Luris of the Dream Den, this deck's companion, is the third most broken cat in this deck, which is just such a weird thing to say, but oh my god, a Johnny is unbelievable. 2 mana for a 1/2 and a 2/1, already solid, but then you get to flip a Johnny into a Planeswalker that zeros to make a 2/1 and sometimes deal upwards of 5 damage to any target, or it can tick up and get out of range of Flage and Galvanic Discharge and start buffing up your cats. And then I've never actually, well, I actually activated the -4 in the first match of the qualifier to get lethal against someone who I was testing with the day before, paired into the 75 card mirror right away, and that was the first time I've ever activated the -4, but it let me attack through a big board. So it was nice. But usually you're just going flip a Johnny 0, kill something, or go face, and it's just an insane amount of value. Also, you can dodge removal by sacking a cat in response to it. Just an absurd card. Just a truly absurd card. So yeah, other than that, we've got a Playset of Marionette Apprentice, which is a pretty strong card from MH3. It comes with 2 bodies, and it basically doubles up the damage from Goblin Bombardment every time an artifact creature is put in the graveyard. You deal your opponent 1, so with the Goblin Bombardment out, normally all your creatures would deal 1 damage to your opponent if you threw them there, but this, with the Marionette adds another damage per creature, so you can burn your opponents out pretty quick, and, 2 bodies for 2 mana is pretty solid in the sack deck. We've also got 2 Amped Raptor and 2 Impetuous Lootmonger, which kind of fill the same role of, proactive 2-drop that generates value. Amped Raptor is a little less consistent because sometimes you hit like a Claim the Firstborn at the wrong time or a Deadly Dispute when you're trying to apply pressure. But, it also can hit in a Johnny and just provide an insane amount of pressure, so it's a bit more high variance, kind of rough into Sun Cleanser. And then Lootmonger is actually a really strong card as well. It will actually just trigger and not force you to discard if you're empty-handed, which is pretty nice. And then you can just cast this on turn 2, and it's really good into the mirror because you can either like find a bombardment or find an answer to their bombardment from their deck, because they're going to be running both of those if it's Boros or the mirror. And then you can also discard excess bombardments, like your second bombardment's not doing anything, so you can discard that pretty freely, or you can discard something like a Forsaken Miner. So this deck does a good job of mitigating the discard. We've also got, in terms of interaction, we've got a 3 the Firstborn and a Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending is really nice because it can hit permanents like Goblin Bombardment and the Flip to Johnny and stuff like that, while also being, cheap removal for creatures. Can hit an Ocelot Pride for 1 on turn 1. Claim the Firstborn, really, really strong into Flage, and a lot of the current Boros lists are leaning more towards Gigantha for Flage because it's so good in the mirror. A little awkward into opposing Claim the Firstborns, but still just a really powerful card, so that's why this deck is running it over something like Fatal Push or more Prismatic Endings. I don't want a Forsaken Miner for some extra just fodder with a Gun Bombardment. You use it to machine gun. It's a bit awkward because a lot of these lands don't produce black, but it's still a fine one up to have. And now as for the mana base, 2 Phyrexian Tower, as I mentioned before, really powerful enabler. 4 mana Confluence, kind of required for the just meeting color source requirements. And then we've got 14, 15, 15, including the Phyrexian Towers as black, so it's maybe more like 13, 15, 15 for black, red, white, which is fine. And we've got kind of a mix of Shocklands, Fastlands, and a pair of Horizon lands. And I found 2 to be a good number because a little more they get painful, but if you're flooding, then being able to sack 1 to draw a card is pretty strong. So moving on to the sideboard, we've got 2 Surgical Extractions just for combo decks, stuff like Kethis or the Woodland, Shifting Woodland deck, which I actually saw a bit on ladder, and I saw that someone actually won day 2 with it, so solid interaction to have. Thoughtseize Juggernaut Peddler. Oh, let me make this nicer. Thoughtseize Juggernaut Peddler, just hand disruption for combo and control. Rite of Oblivion, pretty solid into control since you're often going to be like hitting a Teferi with it, and you can flash it back. You know, you can hit a Exile a Flage. I also sometimes bring it in the mirror because it's more of a grindy matchup, and Rite of Oblivion can give you a nice 2-for-1, and the downside of having to sack something is mitigated pretty well. There's 2 Brotherhood's Ends, and this card is pretty good into Boros because it not only wipes their board, but also kills a Flip Johnny, which is pretty important. I've also seen some people playing Seismic Wave, but I think Brotherhood's End edges out a little for me because it guaranteed kills the Flip to Johnny. And we've got 2 Prismatic Ending for some extra removal from the mirror, and for Boros Energy. Just those matchups revolve around Bombardment, so being able to hit it is really important. And then we've got 3 Obnixilus, the Adversary, which is an unbelievably powerful card with Ocelot Pride, because you can actually copy the Obnixilus token, and Obnixilus turns on City's Blessing really easily because you get so many permanents between all the devils, and you can copy the devil with Ocelot Pride if you're not copying the Ob, and Ob also gives you life gain to trigger Ocelot Pride if it can't attack or if it's something sick. So those 2 work really well together, and Obnixilus is just an absurd card against control because it basically guaranteed 2-for-1s them. It's super difficult for them to play around, and you can do stuff like just jamming it on turn 3, and it makes things really awkward because, you know, maybe they're trying to set up a Wrath or something like that, and this lets you spend your mana without playing into a Wrath. And so that's really, really strong, and they have kind of an issue dealing with Obnixilus, especially since there's 2 Obs, so they can't just like Galvanic Discharge it and call it a day. They also have to deal with the second one. So yeah, well worth giving up Lurus 4 against Jessica Control. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's get into the games. Alright, I think we're starting off here with a mulligan in this hand. Close. Tournament Ocelot Pride, but not quite it. Only 1 land. Well, only 1 land again, but I am going to keep this hand. Potential is just too high, and we're already on a multi-6, and I think I just throw back the Daily Dispute since we already have Bombardment as a sack outlet. And there's a world where we go, like, we want to cast the Unlucky Witness, because that's the other card I would consider putting back. We're just going like this, and then, look, if our opponent can't answer the Ocelot Pride, we'll win, even with a land, even if I miss our second land drop for a turn or 2. If they do, then, I mean, if we hit our land drop, it's still a pretty good hand, and we could go, like, Bombardment into a Johnny plus Unlucky Witness, maybe, if we hit our next 2 land drops. Oh, okay, opponent's off to a slow start. Unfortunately for them, we are not. This is this a land off of being a turn 3 kill? Should I have played the Ocelot Pride there? I wanted to play a Johnny because it's more pressure? I would have made a 1-1. I think it's fine to play a Johnny. We'll see. I think a land might have them dead. Unfortunately, I missed on our land drop. Let's see, 6. I guess this would have worked out a little bit better if I played the Ocelot Pride. This is better into them. That would have been better than them removing Ocelot Pride, is what I was worried about. But I suppose now I should be worried about a Gates Ablaze. So I probably want to play the Bombardment. So I won't get to flip Ocelot Pride here, but honestly, that's not even that big of a deal, since they basically have to Wrath or they die anyway, and then I should be able to kill them after the Wrath. Yeah. No, hold on. No. Definitely better to play the Ajani because I got to flip the Ajani, so now I have an out to a Wrath. Yeah, no, I do think it was better to play the Ajani there rather than the second Ocelot Pride. Maybe I should have thought about it a second longer, but my instincts were correct. They don't even put a land in. They seem pretty dead. They would need 2 answers. Like, if they can answer Bombardment and Ajani, then maybe they're fine. Oh, yeah, they're taking, like, 20 here in this case. So, play Ocelot Pride, play Unlucky Witness. I mean, they're just dead here. We won't even get to see how much they take on end step. Unfortunate. But I would have made a cat, a 1/1 cat, and then a 2/1 and a 1/1. Because I made a 2 and off a Johnny. And then 3 1/1s and 2 2/2s. Has been 3 plus 6. Would have been like 10 creatures, 10 tokens, a bunch of 1/1s, a bunch of 2/1s, and hit them for a couple with bombardment. All right, so gates. We're boarding in our hand disruption, and we're boarding out our removal. And the first one seems bad, and prismatic ending seems. I'll keep in a prismatic ending. Maybe will I? Yeah, because I want to cut the loot mongers, and maybe I'll just bring in a Red of Oblivion. I'm a little bit worried about them having like, I don't even know, temp lockdown or something random. So I think we'll just run it like this. Loot monger just seems bad because the cards in their deck aren't good hits. I don't want to board an Obnick's list because it does not seem worth giving up. Lures 4, this isn't that slow of a matchup where Obnick list seems good, I think, since they're probably able to go over the top of it. It's possible that kind of firstborn is good if they have like, I don't know, Gatebreaker Rams or something random. But we can adjust game 3 worst case. And oh, Snap Keep. This hand is great. This is probably a turn 4 goldfish. We get to go like mana witness into. You know what? Let's see. I think I'm supposed to play Guide of Souls. It's I guess a little worse into a Wrath potentially, but if we hit our third land drop, then we can pump it up. We can go like Marionette, make 2 energy, unlike Witness, make energy attack for with a 3/4, and then that might be able to outsize a Gates Ablaze. Or at the very least just put more pressure on them. That being said, kind of breaking on our draws here. Second bombardment's probably not very good. They might Gates Ablaze at this turn. They have the opportunity to anyway. But that is honestly somewhat fine by me. That would punish us for playing the Guide of Souls. I do think getting pressure going is important though. We'll see what they've got. Circuitous route. Well, I would love to hit my land drop here. If I don't, I may just go Deadly Dispute play combat. I'm gonna have a lot of mana here. Okay, that's good. So I'm gonna play an Unlucky Witness, and I'm gonna play a Bombardment. And I'm going to pump up the Servo just to not put all our eggs in one basket in case I have a removal spell. And then this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if I sacrifice in response to a Wrath. So that would put them potentially dead on my turn, but it looks like what they're doing is playing a Primeval Titan, and I think I can probably kill them next turn. We'll see, but I can like play Marionette, go up to 2 energy, sack Unlucky Witness, try to hit a creature to 3 energy to be able to give something flying and attack for 6, and then I'll have more than enough to kill them with the Marionette, since each creature will deal 3 damage even if they gain life here, though it seems they do not. They must only have 1 Plaza of Harmony in the deck, or oh, never mind. They just must have had the second one in hand. I was a little surprised by that, so that makes sense. But yeah, they're setting up a Gates win next turn, which is a pretty fast goldfish from them. They should just be dead here. And Phyrexian Tower is so let's count, because if Phyrexian Tower isn't necessary, then I won't use it. Are they just dead? So I can play a Marionette. Well, I suppose I need to hit a creature. So I will actually play Phyrexian Tower, because if I break, I can also use the Deadly Dispute. I think that's optimal. Well, I suppose I should have played the Marionette. Yeah. I am supposed to play the Marionette. I should have played it before sacrificing, because I can play a 2-drop even if I hit one because of the treasure. So we'll see if I get there, and that is very much so lethal. This is actually lethal by a lot. It might have been lethal anyway, but this is super lethal. I would have hit them for 3 and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think we might have needed to hit something at some point, like creature in the top 4 is lethal, but this is more than enough. We just killed them with combat damage even without bombardment. And with bombardment, we deal an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. So yeah. Johnny's a pretty messed up card. Well, on to the next one. Alright, this hand is pretty good, and we're playing against another decently high mythic player, so this should be some good competition. Boros energy, of course. Wouldn't be a historic video without some. And both starting on Guide of Souls here. Now, it's interesting to see what my follow-up is. Ooh, Johnny's kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. This makes me think that I may need to play... Oh my god, wait. Aether Hub actually goes crazy here. Yeah, that's an issue. So let's see. Well, I can attack... Well, actually, I'm probably supposed to play Guide of Souls myself. Because I can go Guide of Souls, go up to 1 energy, Unlucky Witness, go up to 3 energy. A little worse than a Johnny in the spot, potentially. But this means that I can attack down a Johnny next turn if they flip it. And I'm gaining a lot of life here, so I'm not losing the race too badly. And then I can set up a Loot Monger next turn and try to hit a removal spell. I can set up a Marionette and get a bunch of energy and life gain and try to curve into this Deadly Dispute. I could just Deadly Dispute the Unlucky Witness and see what I can hit. Yeah, we'll see what's up. I could. Like, I could block the 2-1. Could let their Johnny flip. I could just do that. It's allowed. Probably will if they do. Because the fact that they're thinking about it for so long makes me think that they don't want me to. And I mean, I can attack down this Johnny unless they kill Guide of Souls, which requires 4 damage, which is non-trivial. Even with a red permanent, this isn't too much of an issue. I think I'm supposed to just block. I mean, this can go wrong. Like, it's somewhat risky, but given that I get the cards off Unlucky Witness, it's actually like perfectly reasonable for me to expect to be able to hit a 1-drop and flip and pump the other Guide of Souls even if they kill the 3/4. So I really think this is fine. Claim is a pretty good hit here. It's kind of scary for my opponent. They don't know that I have the Dead Dispute, but okay, Portable Hole. Yeah, so they kill the big Guide of Souls. That's fine. As things stand currently, if my opponent just plays a Cat and Pass the turn, I'm claiming the Guide of Souls, killing a Johnny, sacking it. But my line could change. Wouldn't mind them killing my second Guide of Souls here. It doesn't actually matter. Red permanent would be a little annoying, but as long as... Oh, ticks up. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's actually kind of a heads-up play. What's the follow-up here? Interesting. Nothing. Alright. Well, I am just going to claim the guide. Taking up a Johnny is good, but also it basically just delays the inevitable for a turn. See what my opponent's got here. I was worried about a bombardment because that makes the claim on the Guide of Souls a lot worse. I mean, a removal spell, but they wouldn't have been so hesitant about attacking if they had a bombardment, because then they would love for me to block. And they could have just played pre-combat, then flipped it anyway. I'm not sure if the math on that makes sense or not. I'll just play the Good to the Courtyard now, just in case. And then I'm setting both at a Johnny. I could also not sacrifice the Guide of Souls, just play the Marionette and try to attack a Johnny for 6, but that seems bad for a couple of reasons. A, giving up back their Guide of Souls is kind of an issue. B, it's really bad if they have a removal spell. C, I don't actually care about a Johnny on 1 and T2 too much. Like, it's annoying, but if I drop a bombardment, I can deal with it. They don't have a red permanent right now, which makes it a lot less scary. I'm drawing a lot of lands, but I can discard some to Loot Monger, which is fine. So yeah, next turn, I can get 3 creatures down to make this 3/4 to attack a Johnny. The fact that they didn't do anything has me a little suspicious that they have interaction, but I feel like if you have interaction, just kill the Guide of Souls anyway. So it might just be that their hand is like kind of clunky. I don't know really what's up. Maybe it was like a second Portable Hole or something, Sorcery Speed. Galvanic Discharge, I mean, sure. I don't understand why you would do that then, but that's fine. And then this probably brings Giganta to hand. I guess a bunch of Lages would make sense. They are the Giganta version. What do I want to do here? I think I just want to go Guide of Souls into Marionette into Loot Monger. This way I get my energy and I have Loot Monger to start getting some value. And I'll get down the Sunbig Canyon because if I whiff off the Loot Monger, I'm going to want to stack it or whiff or hit something cheap. And so if they don't want me getting a bunch of energy, they have to kill it now. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But so far the Ajani isn't too threatening. And I think, oh, I played the wrong land. It's fine. I'll just discard the Mana Confluence and play the Cannon as my land for turn. It's slightly suboptimal, but it's unlikely that I actually get punished for it. And, well, definitely not taking Flage and handing them a Flage on a golden platter. I don't have a claim to bait them with, to try to bait them into Flage. I don't have a claim, which doesn't give me a reason to bait them into Flaging. I could take Thraben Charm. It doesn't hit Planeswalkers. Could take Onslaught Pride. I'm a little bit worried about Guide of Souls dying, but if it doesn't, that's really good. And I didn't kill it. My alternative is Thraben Charm, which is unlikely to be very good here anyway. Like, either way, I could probably just attack a Johnny. I think I'll take the Ocelot Pride. It's the higher upside play, for sure. I got punished for playing Marionette there first, but I wanted the damage off of Cracking the Treasure. That was probably incorrect in hindsight, because I would have been paid off pretty hard. Well, not even that hard with the Ocelot Pride. I would have made a 1-1. And there are a number of permanents I just would not want to. Oh, what does this do? Dollmaker. Interesting. So they get to reactivate. That's okay, I guess. It's on 3 loyalty. I don't know. That's not that impressive. Making cats indestructible, not that impressive either. If they don't have a follow-up here, if they don't have any other spell here, they're unbelievably dead. Go Onslaught Pride, Guide of Souls, kill a Johnny, and stepping a bajillion tokens. Okay, it seems that they don't have an answer to Guide of Souls, because otherwise they would probably 0. Ooh, Deadly Dispute is interesting as well. I'm actually just gonna get a bunch of treasures here because of Onslaught Pride. It copies all tokens, right? Yep. So, let's see. Let's move to combat. How are we gonna do this? I probably want to make... I could make Lootmonger fly. Put the Johnny to 1. Kind of like the idea of that. Alternative is attack with Guide of Souls, a Johnny... Attack Guide of Souls, attack Lootmonger. Pump up the Guide of Souls. I don't want to pump up the Guide of Souls because I already want to kill it. But the upside there is they can then waste the ability and I sack it at Deadly Dispute. That seems mediocre. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna attack Lootmonger at a Johnny and pay my 3 energy. And then if they have a removal spell, I am mitigating how effective that is. Yup. Raven Charm, and I get to Deadly Dispute. I think they were supposed to kill God of Souls pre-combat, but that's fine. I guess it would give me some interesting attacks with my creatures because I wouldn't be able to give indestructible. This is good though. This, I'm just gonna go ahead and play Amp Raptor and see what I can hit. There are a lot of draws that just win me the game. That is certainly among them, I would have to assume, because now we are going to deal my opponent 2 with the bombardment thanks to Marionette, and I'm going to move to end step, and we're going to go kind of crazy. So we make a bunch of tokens. Oh, I guess we don't make we don't make treasures. Is it because I sacked the treasures? For each token you control that enters the battlefield, this turn character token, let's copy of it. That's because I sacked them. It doesn't really matter, because they are taking 2 for every creature other than Marionette. GG. So that would be 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23 damage. Yeah, seems like enough. So how are we gonna sideboard? Thraben Charm. So the Thraben Charm build basically it's a removal spell that also hits bombardment. It's an interesting idea. It's good with it works with Amtopter where stuff like Prismatic Ending doesn't, so it makes some amount of sense, but I also don't really love it. But we're just bringing in our removal, and I think cutting Chthonian, Minor, And Amp Raptor gets a lot worse once we're bringing in pendings and stuff like that. I think run it like that. Sometimes I bring in Rite of Oblivion on the play over Village Rites, since you have more of a you're not as behind on tempo on the play, so you can afford to try to take your 2-for-1s with the right. But on the other hand, you also want to be more aggressive. My thing about Village Rites is neither of these cards is particularly aggressive, but you have more time to use Rite of Oblivion on the draw. So there is some upside there. But then again, I say Village Rites isn't proactive. Flipping a Johnny on turn 3 is pretty proactive. So I don't know, I think that decision is pretty close. We'll see what my opponent decides to do here and what our hand looks like. It's a bit of a stinker, I'm not gonna lie. So we have a lot of red sources. We're 30% to draw a red source. And we have a bunch of draws that are not red sources, that are not red cards. And we get to go turn 1 Prismatic Ending. The issue is, Prismatic Ending is less good when I'm forced to cast it on turn 1. Any red cards? I think that has to be a mole. Yeah, this hand is better. Wow, weird hand. So I'm bottoming the second bombardment, knowing that it's very possible that they have a removal spell, because I just don't really feel comfortable bottoming anything else. And I think what I'm going to do here is probably just Blood Crypt tapped on turn 1, Barbed Armor on 2, they kill it, that's fine. Turn 3, I'll go claim the Firstborn Delay Dispute and hope that's good. Don't mind. Ooh, that's a nice draw. Don't mind seeing them pay 3 life on turn 1. It both means that they don't that they're taking much damage, and it means that their lands must be pretty awkward. Maybe this is a 1-lander, maybe this is an Aether Hub or something like that, restricting their plays. But either way, it means that they don't have this is like often the last, there's an Aether Hub. This would be like the this would be one of the lands they would prioritize playing least, because it is just worse. You're giving up modality. And again, I say that, and I'm just getting cooked by this Aether Hub. I suppose in this particular situation, the Aether Hub is pretty good, but just in general, Aether Hub can lead to some funky draws sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, just like pointing out that you can notice a lot of things and infer a lot of things just from your opponent's land drop. It's important to keep in mind what they're doing. There's a really interesting article by PVDDR on it. Paulo Vitor Dalmadorosa, for those of you unfamiliar. The GOAT. In my opinion, the best Magic writer of all time. And yeah, Sun Cleanser's like quite bad here. It does absolutely nothing. One of the upsides of this deck is that it's very resilient to Sun Cleanser. So yeah, do not mind seeing that at all. Interesting. We might even. So what am I doing here? I think, well, probably have to kill the Guide of Souls, don't I? Well, alternatively, I could claim the Sun Cleanser, attack. They can't block the Sun Cleanser because... Or they can't block the Onslaught Pride with the Johnny, because then I would just throw Sun Cleanser at it. I hit them for 2. They can't block the Sun Cleanser either. Then end step, I make token, sack, kill a Johnny. Yeah, that seems reasonable. And in this situation, Sun Cleanser is only relevant because it's a 1/4. But I do want to get the Ajani off the board. So if I kill Guide of Souls, it makes their... Okay, I gotta decide. I'm taking the Sun Cleanser and attacking. And it's possible they mess up the block here, but I would expect... Oh no, sir. Yeah, that was not a good play at all. This actually is very, very good for me. And I think I'm supposed to shock in the Blood Crypt. Yeah, it's just... I am behind on tempo here. I do need to get off this Deadly Dispute, so... what I would like to do is block and sack the cat on the 2/1. If I'm not able to, then I can always throw it to kill it. Looks like they're not even going to attack with it. That's fine. And we'll see what their follow-up is. Despite Aether Hub being good there, they did proceed to not have an additional land drop, and now Aether Hub is being awkward because it's costing them energy turn to return, which is kind of stifling the Guide of Souls. We can kill the Guide of Souls, that can make things awkward potentially. Good for Lootmonger, it makes sense. That kind of grindy card can be kind of awkward in multiples. Second Ocelot Pride, thing. Third Ocelot Pride, alright. So, what's the plan? Oh my god, not trying another creature is super awkward. This Lootmonger blocks really well. So, I can play 2 Ocelot Prides, ping down the Lootmonger. Feels kind of bad, but then I get to attack. Seems pretty reasonable. So what's the City's Blessing look like? 7 with a land, but these don't actually net me, and then end step I'm just Village Rightsing? Or like I'm Village Rightsing at some point? Yeah, it's probably the best line available to me. Just because trying to... Man, this kind of... Wait, hold on. What if I just... Yeah, you know what? I'll attack with the Ocelot Pride and allow it to just get eaten. I think this is actually better. Because then... yeah. This is definitely better. Found the line in time, luckily. I don't think I want to bring Loris to hand here. I'd rather hold up Village Rights and keep the treasure. Because now I get to go really kind of crazy. Ping down the Lootmonger. Am I pinging down the Lootmonger? I could just kill the Guide of Souls. Could just do that. But then I can't really... No, I will just kill the Lootmonger. Because that lets me Village Rights. I don't want to Village Rights now because they might kill an Ocelot Pride on their turn. If I need to, I will kill another creature that Guide of Souls pumps up to fly. This leaves me with creatures to clear the way for Ocelot Pride next turn. So I think this is better. Taking my 3 here is especially fine since I don't even have a 3rd mana for Flage, so I have plenty of time before getting burnt out by 2, and it looks like they just don't have any pre-combat plays. They can hit a number of scary things off my deck, but they're mostly things that they could cast off their deck anyway, like Bombardment, a Johnny, etc. There's the Bombardment. I'm gonna just hit this 2-1 before it comes down, since I'm gonna want to remove it anyway. And now they can't kill my Ocelot Pride. Hopefully no land and follow-up. Yeah, no land and follow-up, so I'm gonna cast the Village Rights now. If they want to sack the Guide of Souls to kill the Ocelot Pride, that's fine. Ooh, a Johnny is nice. Yeah, I'm gonna attack. They're definitely gonna kill an Ocelot in response to a Johnny. So I'd rather get my combat damage in first, but yeah, there they are. Not surprising. Ocelot Pride would have just gotten completely nuts there. And important to note that they played the Bombardment hand. And now... So, what they could have hit off my deck is Brotherhood's End would be the scariest card, but they don't have double red because Aether Hub doesn't have an energy to use. And so now we're just going to go ahead and... I wonder if they're dead. That's the thing. A lot of the time you just ask yourself, I wonder if my opponent is dead. And sometimes the answer is yes. Surprisingly often with this deck. But I don't think they are in this case. I would be surprised. Ocelot is good, but it's not that good. Yeah. Yeah, they're actually like nowhere near dead. Second Ocelot would put them extremely dead, but yeah. Seismic Wave. Alright, so they did have a Wrath. But it's not even that effective, so hold on. 2 damage shiny target, 1 damage an artifact. Yeah, the reason I like this card less, as you can see here, does not kill the Ajani. They wouldn't have had double red for Brotherhood's End. In fact, they might have it at Brotherhood's End. But, when you actually build your mana properly and not running a bunch of Aether Hubs that you can't support. I don't know, Aether Hub is fine in their deck. I don't even know why I'm ragging on them for it. But yeah, I think interestingly they didn't go face with the Seismic Wave. Not that it's like surprising per se, but it just tells us that they don't have a ton of burn, probably. Oh, and that's them dead, so that's nice. I don't even think I'll need the Phyrexian Tower since I have plenty of mana. Nor does it even matter what I do remotely, because I can just I'll stop pride, put you to 7, and scoop it up. Alright, that was a nice 2-0 there. Good example of how the matchup often goes. And look at that, mythic number 69. You know, it's funny, I already hit 69 earlier today and took a screenshot, intending to put it in a thumbnail, but now it's not even clickbait, because I actually do hit number 69. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, yeah, this hand's fine. We get some nice pressure going. Turn 1 Forsaken Miner is nice because it makes basically every hit off Amp Dropper good. Like something like a deadly speed would be good, something kind of Johnny would be just a ton of pressure. Really would not like to get Stern Scolding here, but that's fine. I am going to do this post-combat because it is more likely that I hit a Deadly Dispute than it is I hit a Claim That Firstborn. And yeah, there's the Stern Scolding. Wow, that's... I mean, it's telegraphed, but on the other hand, like, it also could be a number of different things, so playing around it just feels kind of terrible. Now I'm just gonna jam the Marionette, and... I mean, this is kind of rough. Off to a slow start against Boros is not the best place to be. Interesting that they kill the Marionette. Kind of tells me that they just don't have a Wrath in hand, otherwise why would they be doing that? Because they could just clean it up with the Wrath in the near future. But we don't have much going on, so we're just bringing lures to hand, which is, you know, it's whatever. Like, we have the Sunmade Cannon to sack to redraw. One of the reasons why these Horizon lands are so important is this deck doesn't have too much flood mitigation. It has card draw, but yeah, there's a Flage, so and the first one would be a nice draw. Oh, we draw another land instead, though. That's less cool. So yeah, lures to hand. I don't know what we're really supposed to do here. If we come at crime, we can get some value with the miner, I suppose. But if this is a ring or a Tajik, yeah, sure. Tajik, I guess it's probably never gonna be a ring there because they can't activate it immediately, so it's kind of a waste. But yeah, Tajik. Gonna be a bunch of pressure, but I don't even know how scared I am of it necessarily. I'm just gonna play the Marionette. Playing Raptor from Graveyard does not work the way you'd want it to. And my one, like, hope here is that if they can't answer the Marionette and I draw Bombardment, I could just kill them. I do have this redraw with the Sunmade Cannon, which is why I played it there specifically. Tajik, like, it blocks, but doesn't actually pressure me that fast. Well, that's actually not even that good because I get to keep the Luris. So what does this make? Makes the, so I can't attack with Luris? So they're so scared of Luris that they're not even attacking with Ataji because they don't want me gaining the 3 life. Which seems like a poor decision because worst case... Well, I guess I also deal them 3, never mind. I forgot that their life total matters. Yeah, wait, what am I talking about? Yeah, if I kill a Silver Living Vindicator, what matters that I deal them 3? Anyway, let's just go for a Loot Monger, and this will be a crime. So we will get the Forsaken Miner back, which is nice, and then we'll see what we can hit off their deck. Yeah, so I guess good thing for them that they kept the Vindicator back, I suppose. What do we want to take? I mean, I could just take to Fairy, but because of Tajik seems bad. What is it hitting on 3? Flying Ace? That's actually kind of an issue. And yeah, Spark Trooper. Spark Trooper is so much life. I had the Loot Monger, I suppose. I think I'm supposed to just take 2 in the narrative. I'm going to play this untapped, because... I'll just play Amped Up. I gave her to get my energy. Yeah, no, in hindsight, Spark Trooper is actually not good because I have a bunch of First Strikers. How close to the Flage? They're not that far. Well, there's the Flage. Basically, with this Tune the Narrative, I'm trying to set up either like a bombardment or a claim the firstborn. Interesting they got meticulous archive. They already have enough to escape Flage, so I suppose they just didn't have another play. But what if you draw a 2-drop? That's fine though. I would assume they're running basic island, but yeah. So they go for a Flage, and like obviously this is really bad for me. Like I'm clearly losing, but I have some draws here. I have outs. And the firstborn on Flage is really powerful, and especially if they get a bit overly aggressive here. I could definitely see myself pulling something off. I would not attack with Swiftblade Vindicator here. This is not going to work how they want it to. I'll take it though. So yeah, claim the firstborn. Are they dead to claim the firstborn? I mean, almost? Oh, come on, not like this. Yeah. Sack outlet? Claim? Onslaught Pride? Well, I suppose I shall stick it out for a turn, just because claim would be really good here. And I don't die because I can block the Spark Trooper with first strike. Yeah, we just took way too long to find something. Okay, so I think they tuck the Amp Trapper, or they just Loot Monger, I suppose. I guess I do have 2 first strikers, so well, I don't know about that in this case. Oh, whoa. Oh, right, they can kill the Amp Trapper with the... Yeah, never mind, no. Wait, no, Onslaught Pride. Oh. Well, we have outs. We have outs. I think we have actually a decent number of them, and we're drawing cards off Unlucky Witness. Yeah, opponent just completely forgot about first strike on Onslaught Pride. Well, second Onslaught Pride? So I suppose I played a land out because Lootmonger will trigger anyway. Start off with Lootmonger, see what I can hit. Ooh. What can this do? No. Can Tef do anything? Wait, what the hell? Hello? What, do I just lose? Hello? I'm taking a screen. I literally cannot, do anything? Wow, this is a fun bug. I am unable to actually make any plays while heisting them with Lootmonger. So I will simply time out. And I can't actually do anything. I can't actually do anything other than scoop, so I have to let my timer run out. Can I set a stop during second man? I don't even have the combat thing. What is going on? I can't click done. What is it gonna do when it times me out? I mean, hold on, I set a stream marker so I can cut this out so it's not so boring, but what the hell? What do I do? I mean, I don't know. I forget what cards I hit, so I'm trying to think if I have outs. Like theoretically I do because I can tuck the what would Flage hit on 5? I guess Flage hits Aurelia? But if I can find a way to draw cards, what did I even hit? Like completely slipped my mind even. And I do have a second loot monger, so I definitely still have outs here. So I could hit like a remove spell for Flage, and then if I can answer the Aurelia or the Tajik, like I could loot monger into maybe like a 1 ring? Yeah, I could loot monger into 1 ring. That would work. So cool. I get a temporary lockdown and I pass the turn. Wow. Okay. Alright. That's super cool. Well, we are dead here. What a just a ridiculous bug. Are you serious? Well, I wasn't, we were losing there, but that does not feel good. What were the cards we hit even? I'm trying to remember. I mean, it was like a Teferi and what else? Actually, I guess 1 ring couldn't save us because we couldn't make Because it would have to be the second loot monger. No, but we would have 4 mana. Yeah, no, a second loot monger. Oh, and loot monger would have been making me sure. Yeah, we actually had a number of ways to get out of that spot. Wow, that's ridiculous. Okay, well, Jeskai control, Tajik, lockdown, energy package, but probably not wizards, probably the Lotus Field version. Obnixilis, Rite of Oblivion, Juggernaut Peddler, Thoughtseize, Prismatic Ending are all good. Amtraptor, Lootmonger, bad. Chthonian, bad. Forsaken Miner, bad. So I think I will cut Prismatic Ending, even though it is good into specifically Temp Lockdown, and trim like an unlucky witness. Maybe I'll keep like 1 pending. I'll trim like a Guide of Souls. Yeah, well, I guess we already have Rite of Oblivion. I kind of don't want to go this low on unlucky witnesses. I think I want to trim 1 Guide of Souls. Yeah, around there like that. Sure. Temp Lockdown, good into us, of course, but, you know, Obnexus is a nice way to get around that. Tajik isn't actually super threatening because we can jump it, and I mean, the guys you saw there, a 4-drop that just didn't do a whole lot. It pressured us, but we still had out. Can't lose as badly to a Stern Scolding, but I think it's fine. They hold up Stern Scolding mana, we'll just go from Bombardment. And just curving into a Ob is so good. Oh, that's helpful. Man, I really don't want to get Stern Scolding here. They played an island and they almost assuredly have a better land to play. I think I can go for the Bombardment. Hope they don't have a Spell Snare. In the narrative. Alright. Yeah, that's fine. Next turn we can double spell Ocelot Pride into Marionette. So that is risky. Yeah, I think what I'll do is just go black, red, Marionette. So I don't want to double spell because it's really bad into a whatchamacallit. So instead of that, what I can do is set up a Deadly Dispute here. If they go for it. Yeah, Temp Lockdown. Oh, wait, this might... Oh, I guess we're gonna be... The treasure's gonna get exiled. So it's not gonna be quite as good as I would hope, because we could have tried to set up... Not if we miss a land drop. Could have tried to set up, like, Guide of Souls, Ocelot, Obnixilis, Casualty, the Guide of Souls, and then end step we would make an Ob copy. But I think we're just gonna have to settle for Guide of Souls plus Marionette here. I think that's my best option. It kind of prompts a second Wrath, which I wouldn't mind seeing. And if they don't have it, this is a lot of pressure. And then this sets up like Ob next turn. If I draw an untapped land, I can flip a Johnny with Ob, which would be insane. No. Do I want to try to... What I could do here is I could go black, white, Johnny, flip a Johnny, make a token, casualty Ob, to have 3 planeswalkers against a missed land drop. I think that's better than Ocelot Pride because I can set up Ocelot Pride next turn, gain life with the Ob. I think this is like my best possible line. I definitely want to casualty. Like there's a consideration to playing Ob non-casualty so I can get the damage off the token and keep the token, but a second Ob is just really strong. And then I want to Devil down so I can start getting life, so I'm gonna take down Might as well. And what would be an issue here? Like, yeah, opponent scoops it up. Yep, Ob is pretty good. Even when we kind of set it up a bit awkwardly because of temp lockdowns and land drops, Ob is just so unbelievably busted. Johnny's also doing some work there, but how are you beating this? Like, how are you beating this? Yeah, that was a really nice draw. Wow, they must have a lot of temp lockdowns. I kind of want to bring in more pendings. Maybe I'll cut like Unlucky Witness because it's just kind of awkward into pending. I don't want to cut too many. Maybe I'll cut a Claim the Firstborn, since if I'm bringing in so much removal, then I already have answers to Flage. So Prismatic Ending Flage is worse than Claim, but it does in a pinch, and Claim is somewhat dead otherwise. Probably 3 Claim is wrong, yeah. Oh, don't mind this hand at all. Unfortunately, also Pride will probably get Galvanic Discharge, which isn't great because it has some energy, but their deck is less good at using energy. Like they have energy cards, they can't actually like 2-for-1 me. That's interesting. They're main facing it. Actually, I suppose it makes sense because they do know that I have sack outlets. Um, but what a terrible play. Like, what a terrible play. I don't want to play into something with a Johnny. I'd rather just get my Deadly Few value this turn and then try to like double spell in the future. But why main phase the Tune the Narrative? I was like, all right, they're gonna main phase the Tune the Narrative, try to draw a removal spell so I can cast it now and kind of get me before I am um able to hold up a sack outlet. But no, then they just slam the Galvanic Discharge on my Deadly Few. What a yeah, I don't understand. Anyway, enough yapping. I'm gonna go for an Ixalis non-casualty. A really awkward hand for us, but fine. And then they have a Tajik. Obnix dies, but that doesn't actually matter because I have a second one. I'm gonna tick up, and they're missing land up again. Kind of unfortunate for them. What am I gonna do here? So I could go a Johnny casualty. I mean, I didn't hold priority last turn, so I'm assuming I have nothing. I'm probably just gonna play a Johnny regardless. Let me test the waters. Just resolve it away. So I think what the plan is just casualty and take action. And I'll legend rule the Ob, which is fine. I want to keep the one with more loyalty. And then I'm gonna go make a devil, tick up, and they have to be pretty dead here. Like, I don't really know how they get out of this. It's just so much damage and so many planeswalkers, and opponent just scoops it up. Yeah. Obnixilis, as I was saying, busted. It really did help that our opponent missed their land drops a lot, but honestly, I don't even think that would have mattered that much. Like, this is kind of a disgusting draw. And this is a really clunky draw, too, where I just jammed an Obnixilis, but when you actually get to do the thing, it's really, really strong. So yeah, that'll do it for the matches. Let's go ahead and do a quick outro here. But yeah, this deck maybe supposed to cut the Cathartic Nightmare on the main for like a removal spell and a second prismatic ending, something like that, because there's just a lot of bonus energy and a lot of sun cleansers. But the meta in the qualifier was like way more homogenized than even the ladder meta, which I get is like pretty homogenized, but it really surprised me. My 7 out of 9 of my matches were Boros Energy. One was Jeskai, and one was the literal 75 card mirror. So, not too much variety there. But yeah, I think this deck's really strong. I've seen a lot of really interesting Boros builds, which this deck is probably a little worse into, because a lot of them are tech to beat the mirror, which also makes them better into this deck. But really love this deck just because it beats Boros Energy and is so good into control. And which is a little surprising for a sack deck. Usually sack decks are not that good into control, but you just have so many engines. It makes things really awkward for them, and a really like diversified threat base. Like, yeah, temp lockdown and all that is good, but then we just like flip a Johnny and make a lot of pressure, and like we have sack outlets for second response. We also have Obnix, which they can't hit with temp lockdown or Divine Purge or Wrath of Skies or any of the many Wrath that they have. So yeah, I really like this deck into Jeskai. And that's gonna do it for the video. I'm gonna be taking a bit of a break because I was just kind of grinding content a lot, and I was playing the Arena Direct for an ungodly amount of time as well. I won 11 boxes across both weekends with the same win rate as had last time, exactly 69%. But if they're gonna be doing these more regularly, I will have to work on my limit a bit because I think I can up the win rate a couple of percentage points. But yeah, I've been playing just a ton of Arena, so I'm gonna be taking a bit of a break, especially from Historic. Kind of not a huge fan of the format right now because of all the energy decks and whatnot. But I'm gonna be playing Modern because I'm going to be at SCG Baltimore, and I got some interesting ideas there. So maybe I'll make some Modern content. We shall see. And yeah, thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you next time, whenever that is. Bye.